Hello, Kyle. Welcome back to the Wasm Report. Here to talk about Cody Rhodes. Shall we get straight into it?
Yeah, I'm ready for it.
Okay, so we'll start with the main thing. Obviously, we all know he's going to WrestleMania. We know the big uproar. The discussion we were having is you don't get what people see in Cody Rhodes. So, do you want to start with that?
Yeah, so I think for me, it goes back to when he came back to the company. And for me, I never watched him AEW. Like I said before, I don't pay attention to anyone that leaves that really wasn't high on in the first place. So when he came back, and him feuded with Seth Rollins and had that one. He's a great wrestler. I enjoy his matches, but I just don't get the appeal to Cody Rhodes. In my opinion, the man is just a theme song, and he just has and if he didn't have that, would he be super over with the crowd? I kind of a little bit doubt it because then is then and then so that's so that's the first problem I have. Then the second problem is just the fact that he was so obsessed of winning the WWE championship because his father never did. I was like, okay, that's all well and good, but what's your reason beyond that? What's your reason with Roman Reigns beyond that? That's
Okay,
it, and that's it. So that's been so it's just the whole thing where it comes down to he's back because he was his father, not himself. That's the main thing that I just cannot get behind, and people are just so obsessed with that narrative, and it's like, why does it have to be about his family story? Why can't it be just about his own personal story, like how everyone else is? No one else talks about their family story about being champion or being, the main. So that's the thing that I don't really understand why people are so hell bent of that narrative and that situation. So that's my problem with Rhodes, really.
okay, so there's quite a lot there to discuss. Okay, can we go a lot? But let's just start with the first point. So I just want to go back to WrestleMania when you returned. Now, you said you didn't watch AEW, which is fine. You don't need to watch AEW. So when the last time you saw Cody, he was totally different. So when you saw him return visually with the music, because he wasn't using that music in WWE before, and you saw
Right.
Cody on the WrestleMania stage, what did you visually think of the look and the music first when you saw it?
It was fine. I didn't really. It was a weird thing to see him back. I didn't really expect it really. I know it was a rumor, but I still don't believe it till I see it. So it was fine. But I didn't really. I guess it was a it was just a cool visual for what it was, and he had just had a different look or whatever, and it was a good match. But I didn't really care too much about it. I didn't really. It was like, okay, whatever. I was pissed off that Seth lost, but I was like, okay, whatever. It's whatever. It
Yeah.
is what it is. But so that was my first thought, was like,
Okay. Do
whatever.
Do you? Okay, the match itself I thought was quite good. Is it one of the best ever? No, but it was a good match. But you said in the space he's a good wrestler, right? You've said that. Um,
Yeah.
so just speak about. Well, obviously we're going back, but do you feel because Cody left and then came back? Do you think maybe Seth should have won it on that night?
I think he should. He was doing some a lot of good work heading into throughout the prior year, and then whether that was feeding with Edge, and then him getting an opportunity at the WWE Championship at the time and on day one that year. And so it felt like he was getting in great having a great momentum and in no direction Seth was going. Had an WrestleMania because they had no plans for him clearly. And then, or maybe they did. They always knew it was going to be Cody Rhodes or whatever. But it was like that just seemed random, and they came out of nowhere, and it's like it didn't make any sense. So I felt bad for Seth after having a good year prior, and then it just kind of went downhill for Rollins since then. So that's why I didn't care for it.
Okay, so obviously, I agree with you somewhat. The only part I disagree with, which I think Cody did need to win, that first match. But did he need to win three straight? No, I don't think he did. Now, Cody had support when he came in, but I feel people really got behind him after that Hell in a Cell match. I believe that's when the momentum went to another level. Um, did you notice that or not, or did you think it was the same?
I thought it would have been the same. Maybe it was it enhanced it, but I just think if he didn't have the injury or not, I think it would have been the same. I will never know what would happen had he never gotten hurt. So that's just the where he was out for the majority of the year. So it did took away of what would have what he would have done heading into SummerSlam that year and all that stuff. But so we'll never know. But in terms of to enhance his popularity, yeah, especially too that he was gone. So I
Okay,
was like, okay, so so yeah, it was so yeah,
okay.
so that was my first problem with Cody Rhodes. That was part A. I'll get to part B in a second.
Okay, we are going to cover everything. Obviously, I'm just slowing it down a little bit, so
Right. Yeah.
just get a breakdown. So, obviously, I just want to go back to his matches with Seth. Obviously, you said
Okay.
WrestleMania was good, nothing special, average. What did you think of the second match he had? I believe it was a WrestleMania Backlash.
Backlash. Yeah. That match was good too. I mean, both matches at WrestleMania and at Backlash was really good. I enjoyed them both. They were fine. They were good matches. I enjoyed them. It was fine. It was good. It was enjoyable matches. There wasn't nothing wrong with them. I thought they were fine. They were watchable. They were great.
Okay, so now going into obviously um, the story, right? Obviously,
Yeah.
he wants to win the title for his father, etc., etc., etc. Right? There are two championships. He could have, if he really wanted to win a world title, he could have won either of them. But he needs to beat Roman, which I think he can win any title. But what obviously keeps mentioning his family, his father. Do you think
And
that's why
that's
people are getting
that's
behind
the other
him?
thing too. It's about and it's the other thing too. He's saying that he needs to defeat Roman Reigns. Like, why does he need? Why is Cody Rhodes the person that he's the person to defeat Roman Reigns? That's the other thing I don't understand that neither. So, but go ahead.
So I agree. I don't think Cody should be the person to defeat Roman. And when he took him on last year and he lost, I was happy he lost because he went
Yeah,
away.
surprised neither. I was
Yeah.
lost myself.
But the thing is, what people forget about Cody, obviously, I don't know how much of this you know because obviously I don't know how much you followed Cody after WWE, but
Not
he
at all.
completely okay, so he went obviously to AEW, and even before that, he slaughtered the company for the Stardust gimmick. It was just a bad gimmick. I mean, they tried something different because what they were doing wasn't working. But he forgot about dashing Cody Rhodes and all that sort of stuff. WWE really worked hard with him to put him on the map and get him noticed, but he slacked off the company quite a lot. So, why do you think people have forgotten how much he slagged off the company?
I guess there, or maybe either or it's also younger fans that never watched what watched him then as well. So probably other keep in mind as well. There's young people now that he's connecting to that they never know what he did prior. They just see what he's doing now
Yeah.
currently and they like it. So I think that's really the situation. Is a mixture of that either the older fans that go there with their kids, they either don't care and say that was old news, or if it's the kids themselves, they have no idea what he did prior to his time in WWE prior. So
So you bring up a good point, right? So obviously, I think Cody's got a mixed fan base, but there are a lot of kids, which is why people call him John Cena of today, because these kids will probably 10 years from now, when we're older, they're probably going to say, you know what, we watched because of Cody. Now, I think he's got more kid fans,
yeah,
but the older fans, I believe are they're 50-50. They're not fully behind him like some of these younger fans, but the story they got, a lot of people are behind that. Now I don't agree with that story story. I don't think they should have used that because in AEW, it was everything against what his father did. So if they didn't use that story,
Interesting.
would you be happy with it?
Interesting. So, say that again.
Would you be happy if you didn't use the story? And what do you think would have happened if they didn't use that story?
If he didn't use the story itself, he would have just had a regular. He would have. There would have been. So no, usually too. You don't usually have. They don't really have a feud for the most part. Not all the time. Had to go into a feud with someone going after the championship because I think back to even Kofi Kingston as well. He had no personal problem with Daniel Bryan. It was the fact that he was being that Vince didn't want him to be in the championship picture because the fans completely said Kofi Kingston is our guy that we wanted to see get pushed because of the years that he's been treated like he meant nothing, and then in that gauntlet he proved something in that gauntlet, and then people just stuck people just stood behind him with that in that gauntlet. So it just came. It was super random. It came out of nowhere, and because people had a lot of respect of Kofi Kingston for the years he's been in that company, not that he meant nothing and stuff like that, and then WWE just went along with it, and then it just expanded and it headed to the chamber that year, and then of course WrestleMania. And then it did go downhill after that, but that was the story they were telling based off that gauntlet match that was super random, just to see who was going to be the last person to enter because he was a random person to. I'm sorry. Also, too, he was actually replaced by Ali that year as well because of his injury. So it was just by chance. So that's the other thing. So that's why to me with the Cody thing, that don't really there was nothing. It just happened. He's just like, this is the person we're gonna push, and you either gonna like it or you're not, and you're not. And has stuck by Cody Rhodes. I think the company would have pushed him super hard because I don't know why, because they want to treat him very, and it could have backfired, but it didn't, and people are behind him for some reason. So I think that's the other thing.
It still can backfire, and you actually mentioned it with the Kofi as the example, right? Kofi was pushed to the moon. We know things were going on in the world at that time, and it was right to push him. The correct story, correct time. But what happened after? He's gone straight back down to
nothing. Yeah, it was
nothing.
Yeah, he had meaningless matches with Samoa Joe, a terrible feud with not feud, but just not their great matches with Randy Orton, which is kind of disappointing. And he just really wasn't the guy. Really, he was just the right guy at the right time. But then after that, he was just what are you gonna do after him? That's the thing about Cody Rhodes that I don't think everyone's not really thinking about. It's like, sure, he's the guy now. You want him to be a champion currently today, sure. But what's gonna happen after? You're gonna put him immediately with Randy Orton. You can see, look, difference between Kofi and Rose. I'll give Rose credit for this is that there will be feuds with him that I do want to see him in the ring with Randy Orton, AJ Styles. If he stays with SmackDown, depending who's gonna go over to Raw. So there's options for Cody to face after WrestleMania if he does win the championship. That would be interesting to watch. Than Kofi Kingston. So that's part that is different that I will say about that.
Here's my take on it. I think once he's got the title, the momentum's gonna within 6 months. I think the momentum will drop because the story's done.
Right. So I think so too.
Okay. So yeah.
I just think. I just also think that maybe that just like I said, just whatever story that with Randy or with Age is just something new. Can you make him interesting after it? Whoever I think that's the only reason why I want him as champion is to see how he does.
Okay, but I don't think he's gonna do great, Kyler. I think I'm not against Cody. Like, he is a great wrestler. I do like his work. I even post stuff on YouTube about him because he is. You said it quite clear. He is a good wrestler. So you put him in any match, any role, you're going to get a great match.
Right.
Now that brings me to my next point. If he wins that title from Roman, that's all we're going to get from him. I think great match, great match, great match. Eventually, that will get boring because WWE is about a lot more than that, and
Right.
his story will be complete.
Right.
Hear me out a second. Hear me out a second. Right? His story will be complete. He's done what he needed to do for his father, for him, and then it's just defending that bout. And he's probably going to defend it on TV as well, so you get it on SmackDown. Maybe cross over to Raw and defend it because they're doing crossovers now. I don't like that either, but that's another topic for another day. Then what? He's not going to be to a level of Roman Reigns, even like Brock Lesnar or none of them. I mean, do you want to see just match after match, Kyle?
Not yeah, not really. If he's gonna be in a major feud after it, so let's say Randy Orton or just AJ Styles as a general, whoever, then that'll be
Yeah.
the feud that he's gonna be in with. So that's what I would want. But in terms of match to match for no reason, no story or feud behind it, just a random match, just because I don't want to see that. Just a feud with whoever he's gonna be feuding with for the next couple of months, and then like how it is normally.
Okay, so like here's another problem, right? So a couple of weeks ago, Seth was saying he's got the workhorse title, right, on Raw. Remember they did this segment together? Now,
Yeah.
if Cody gets the SmackDown title, Universal title, I think he's going to make that the workhorse title. So we're going to have two
Yeah.
workhorse titles. I think it's going to get very boring. Do you think so?
Well, I don't know. I think for me, I don't think I'll find it boring. And and I think, and if McIntyre even wins the World Heavyweight Championship, he'll still defend the championship every single month on pay-per-view. It's that he won't. I think if he win the title on TV, then that's fine. I'm not. I want him to win the title on television. But I also think he shouldn't wrestle every week. I want to maybe what a backstage set, do like just single every week or whatever, or whoever he's feuding with, back and forth on the microphone or whatever. That's fine. So boring. If he wrestles every week, that'll be boring. But him showing up every week, I don't think that'd be fine for me.
Because I've got a feeling, like, I get what you're saying and I agree, but I get a feeling straight after he's won that title, he's going to come out of SmackDown and say, I'm defending it tonight. And then I think that's going to be the
Uh,
flow of things moving forward. Now, if he did it just on pay-per-views and tried to make it, because you've got to make it different to the Raw title, then it will work. But in regards to who we can work with, like you mentioned, Randy Orton, AJ, there are talents he can work with. Now, we had a chat about this a couple of weeks ago. I think he'll be working with lower guys as well. They're not lower than mid-card as the Greater Waller, Austin Theory. But I could see them being main event level matches for pay-per-view, even though they're probably not, just because Cody's a champ, he needs people to work with. So I think he would actually make
yeah.
the main. What I'm trying to say is the main event won't feel like a main event, even though it is put in the main event. The good thing out of it, people get an opportunity. I mean, how would you feel? I don't know. I'm going to
Kind of
just.
like when Shinsuke faced kind of like when Shinsuke faced Seth last year. It wasn't a main event type level feud, but they did had that matchup. So something like that.
Yeah, I thought, good matches, right? They had good matches, but it did nothing. Shinsuke's in the same
Yeah.
place. He's Cody is the champ, and I believe the result's going to be the same. It's going to do nothing, and the only way it works if Cody does it the way that you said. But I don't think that's going to happen. That's the problem. But let's say when he drops that belt, yeah. Let's say he gets the title and he drops it. I think the guy
Okay.
is straight in the mid. I think he's straight in the mid card. I don't think he's a main eventer anymore. He might do the odd main event match now and then, but he's mid card. You're getting him in middle of the pay per views. That's what I think once he loses, because everything's done, Kyle. Story's done. He's won the title. He's had some main event matches. What is there to do when he's done all that?
That's true, but can you really say that about everyone else though? Can you say that about Seth? And can you say that even about Drew as well? That they've is at this point, maybe if he changes his character, then that's probably going to be different if it's more if he's a heel or whatever. Because you can really say that about anyone really
Yeah.
who was a championship and then loses it. So really, what makes Cody different in that regard? I'm at
Okay. So what I'm trying. So this is. I don't know if you're going to disagree here, but some wrestlers have the ability to change and get better and bounce back and all that sort of stuff, right?
right, yeah.
I think with the current roster we have right now in WWE, I think he will change, but he's gonna find it very hard to bounce back as a face, right?
Yeah, I can
Face.
see that.
Now, as a heel, it might work better once that might work. It will work for the short term, but then it's going to go back to the same because I don't class Cody as a level of Roman or Brock or Logan Paul. I know Logan's not the world champ, but I think he's on another level. Steph,
Yeah,
I don't put Cody.
he's very vanilla. He's just only one dimensional. So I
Yeah.
see what you mean.
Yeah. So I mean, some people won't agree, but I think they're going to see over time what's going to happen. But I think his best role is being mid card, and there's no problem with him being mid card. He's going to give us great matches in the mid card. He was mid card for a long time in his career in WWE, and he did have some good matches. If you go back and watch some Dashing Cody Rhodes matches, like with Rey Mysterio, they were very good matches. Would you be happy if Cody was a permanent mid carder?
Personally, yeah, because I just don't view. I just really legit do not see this guy as a main eventer, and it's good. It's just hard for me to see him for years as a mid carder and as and as a tag team wrestler. That for him to jump back to being in the main in as a main eventer, it's just it's very different. It's very different than Seth and Roman and even it's just very different between them because it's like I don't know if it's also to the mixture of that they stayed and Cody left. Maybe that's the other thing why too I can't really support him enough because he decided to leave when people who were treated like they meant nothing stayed anyway.
Mm,
I think again like he's like just like for example, I can think of two names that are women's wrestlers you don't care too much about, but it's in Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan. They were treated like they meant nothing, but they stayed, and now they're Becky's one of the top female stars of the company, and Liv Morgan is getting up there to be more interesting within her character change. So, yeah, if he stayed, he'd probably be. I wouldn't probably feel all that though I wouldn't be this negative about him being champion. He's still not one of my favorites, but I wouldn't be. It would be like the Drew situation. Drew, I don't care for Drew too much myself at all, but I'm okay with Drew as a for what reason I don't know, but I'm okay with Drew more than I am Cody Rhodes. There's no really good explanation of why. It's just a feeling. So
okay.
similar to that.
So obviously, what do you think it would take for you maybe to get behind Cody then? Would it be a heel turn? Would it be dropping the story, which is what you sort of commented on? You didn't exactly say it like that. Um, or do you not know?
I don't really know because I'm not a fan of Cody Rhodes at all. So I don't really care what he does or doesn't do. I'm not going to be. I won't be super behind him at all because I just don't really. I'm not a fan of the guy. So I don't really care
Yeah.
too much about him. And
Okay.
if he was super tall and built and kind of like Drew McIntyre, because I don't care about Drew McIntyre either, but Drew for some reason I am okay with. I don't and just because maybe it's because of his height, or maybe because he's more interested as a heel. Maybe if Cody changes his character to becomes more of a heel, maybe I'll find him interesting or something different. Maybe also too, if he feuds with someone different, maybe that's the other thing as well. He keep focusing heavily on Roman Reigns that he has never really because when he came back, it's only been about Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. That's pretty much has been it. He dabbled in Judgment Day a little bit, but wasn't too much. And then, of course, with Jey Uso, but still part of the bloodline situation. I want to see how he is after not feeding with Roman Reigns only. Like, what other stuff is there for him to do?
Okay.
That's why I can't really get behind him for even that perspective.
Okay, so one thing which he has done then, obviously, he's challenged The Rock before even taking on Roman, which I think was a mistake. I don't agree with that. I think he should have done his work with Roman first and then took on The Rock. So I think he is going to work with The Rock following WrestleMania, whether it be for a title or not, because The Rock could screw him or Cody could win. How do you feel about Cody just being in the ring and just working with The Rock? There is some value there, then, right?
Into it, I wouldn't really care. I'll be like, yeah, it'd be similar to when Owens faced Steve Austin. I was like, I kind of like shut out. It was like background. So if they feud, then fine. I just personally do it, but you know,
Uh,
you probably will do, but I just don't care.
okay, I would be interested in it, but I don't think Cody should defeat both Roman and then The Rock on back-to-back pay-per-views. I think there's marquee value in it, and I think there will be great interest. But let's say Cody defeats Roman. He's ended that incredible streak. He defeats The Rock. I think the result is the same as what I was saying earlier. He's then going to slowly phase off and eventually end up back in the mid card. For some time, he'll be there until he rises again. I don't think him beating Rock or Roman is going to do anything for him. I don't think he needs it either. I think he's very well established. Obviously, you're not invested in those matches. But do you think Cody should win? Or do you think he should lose in both those matches?
Well, I think subjectively, I want him to. I do want to see him win the championship. See how he does. It'll be very similar to like again. I keep comparing Drew because it's just because not expected to be as a world champion, and then when he held us, it looks good on him. I'm okay with him. I looked at him differently when he wrestled and stuff like that. So it's and maybe I'll have that same feeling with Cody Rhodes if he does win. If he does win the Universal Championship, I'll be like, I may see him differently. I may say like, okay, you know what? I'm still not a fan of him, but you know, I already liked his work in the ring as it is. I may not care what he has to say for the most part or his look. It'll be just simply his in-ring ability that will get me excited for the most part. And so that'll be the only difference I think with that. So that's kind of like it.
Okay, something I want to bring back that was mentioned right at the start of our conversation. This entire story we're talking about, why couldn't just this being done with the Raw title? Because I think it still works. It actually fits better with the Raw title because that's the workhorse title.
And he also has a longer story with Seth. The other thing too that mean as well.
So if they did the same story, yeah, and it could have been executed quite nicely, and I think it could have worked. And I would have been happy with Cody versus Seth and Rock versus Roman, and then Cody wins his title. Everything's still the same, and like you said, the history's already there with Seth. There is history with Roman as well, but I wanted to see Seth and Cody 4. I did want to see it. Didn't want to see Cody win, but I want to see the match. Now, in regards, okay, let's do a little bit on Cody. Then again, in regards, I keep saying his best role is mid card, and would you say that's fair to say? Would you say no, it's not his best role?
As of right now, the way he's presented on television, the way that he's advertised on every single Raw, his face is everywhere. I think it's going to be in the main event scene moving forward. I think he'll never be in the mid card. If he is, going to be like a little while, just like Seth, just like Reigns, and all those people who was in the mid card for a short amount of time, but
Mm.
in the main event scene. So just because of that, I see. I don't. I'll say no. Um, straight to the mid card today because the way
Yeah.
they promoted this guy or to see the company, see him ever being a mid carder ever again.
Okay. I think once his story's wrapped up, he can be a mid carder and still continue the same way he's doing. He can still be a top merch seller. He can still main event probably house
That's
shows,
true.
odd few SmackDown. So he's still main events the odd few shows. He's just not your main event every single week. Like example, John Cena, the PG era.
Yeah.
Remember that? So John
Yeah.
Cena was a main event. Yeah, he was a main eventer for a long period of time, but then what? Later on in his career, he did drop down to not working those main events and still being full time, and he was still a top seller
True.
and things like that. But I
Yeah.
don't think Cody's even a John Cena. When I see that comparison, I asked somebody why. They said, "Well, Cody does Make a Wish, but loads of wrestlers do Make a Wish, and that doesn't make him the next John Cena. John Cena changed the entire business from to the PG era." Cody's not doing that, but he is a good
Yeah.
addition to the roster. Do you think Cody's like John
Yeah.
Cena?
They're framing him as that. Yeah. I mean, it's absolutely kind of lame and kind of stupid. I don't know why that they decided for Rhodes to be what John Cena was. I think that's kind of unfair to Rhodes, give him his own personal identity. And it's just I think it's unfair to give him that title. I think it's really unnecessary. You don't see that with Randy Orton. You don't see that with I mean they even tried to do that with Roman Reigns and that failed. So I don't think they should not do that with Cody Rhodes. He should have his own identity, but I think they're going to anyway. So
Okay.
they're
What
gonna
are the
do with
chances?
go ahead.
Sorry. No, finish what you're saying.
No, because I was thinking to myself, he's just gonna be they're what they're doing with Cody Rhodes, they try to do with Roman Reigns, and it failed with Roman, but it's working with Rhodes, and this is the type of reaction that they thought Reigns is going to have. Maybe that's why they keep on having it because he's getting great reactions, and if he didn't, they would still push Cody Rhodes to this level. People would hate it, but people like it because for some reason he liked Cody Rhodes, but when he did that with Roman, they hated it. So I guess that's why
Yeah.
so that's the other thing. It's like, wow, why is it so?
Yeah.
Why it's like it makes me think that these people are hypocrites because why now all of a sudden you like Roman Reigns now as a heel, but yet Cody Rhodes is doing the same thing that Rhodes is doing, but you like what Cody is doing, but you didn't like what Reigns is doing. I mean, I feel like that's a little bit people are being kind of like a hypocrite personally when it comes to that mindset. I mean, I'm not saying that they are. Just saying you just I don't know why you have this one thought about this person, but the other thought about this person. Like they're both the same. Why is this person better than the other person? So whatever, to each their own. But I think it's just weird.
I think like in wrestling, this has happened many times over the years. People just have their favorites, and Cody's one of
Right?
those.
Yeah.
But let's speak about Cody's audience because he has got this solid audience, whether we like it or not. Now it is a lot of kids. Do you think those kids are going to be like, say, Cena fans, and they're going to grow up and stay with Cody, and they're going to keep supporting him no matter what? Or do you think this is a phase? I mean, they're going to phase off eventually.
Well, yes and no. I think some of them are going to be remain as fans for a very long time and into their adulthood. Some of them will fade away. It's kind of like to me for me like Edge was the first person I saw when I was a kid that I first got into wrestling, first watched it. Edge was the person that was the first person I saw when I first had it on, and I was drawn to Edge, and so I remain a Edge fan to this day, and I'm still am an Edge fan, even though he's in AEW right now. Still, I'm a fan of Edge and what he has done to so
Yeah.
and there's that is either fall off or you stay with that person if you're a kid at that level. So
So let's take Edge for example. Now, I'm not going to mention his AEW run because it's been crap, right? From what
right,
I
yeah,
did see, but it's
yeah. I was
WWE
making
run
an
now.
example.
Yeah, yeah. So WWE run. Um, you stuck with him even when he was main eventer, mid card. Did you stick with him?
Yeah, I think also too. I think for me as well is that I kind of sympathize with someone who got hurt even more because I think I sympathize with someone who gets hurt. Like when Edge got hurt and was forced to retire, I was like, oh man, that sucks. And then when he came back, I was like, awesome, this is a great. And because I was already a fan of him before he got hurt. Then
Yeah.
when he after he got hurt, it's kind of similar with Seth as well. Seth, I didn't care about Seth at all. Because I was a little bit young. I was 16, 17 when they debuted, and I was playing up. I was more of a Dean Ambrose fan. I was more into what he was doing. He was
Yeah.
more entertaining to me. And then that's why I enjoyed their feud because Ambrose was awesome. And then it tried to kind of transition to Seth when he got hurt, and then when he came back, I was like, and then I became more of a Seth fan and I've been a Seth fan since then because he's been more. I appreciated Seth even more then, and to this point in this point now because of his injury. Now I don't feel that way about Cody's because I just said to myself, yeah, I don't care about this guy, even though he's hurt. Too bad he's hurt. Don't like you don't like see someone get hurt, but
Yeah.
it was just immediately when he it was immediately when he got cleared, he immediately won the Rumble at number 30 after Gunther had that great run, and then it just kind of went downhill for there in my mind because he factored into the Sami Zayn story with Roman that wasn't finished yet, and it was like so everything was against Cody because of his injury. So I don't hate Cody because of I don't hate Cody Rhodes. I just think it's just bad timing when he came back, and so that's why
Okay.
so that's the situation.
Okay. So obviously you still stuck with your people. That's how I think people are going to stick with Cody, whether we like it or
Probably,
not.
yeah.
I this fans, if they do stick with him, it could result in him being in the main event for a long period of time. But I don't think they are going to. But if they do, now we injuries. I just want to talk about injuries in a second because it's you brought that up with the other wrestlers. Cody's a workhorse. He's working the house shows. He's working weekly TV. He's working pay per views. Is this guy bound to get injured at some point?
Probably there's a chance, you see that with Seth, with his injuries. So he's good there every single week, never really taking time off. Doing these house
Mm.
shows could be very similar to that. He's gonna be if he's gonna do very something similar to what Seth hurt, people are gonna get kind of bored and tired of it. I just think people will be bored with Cody Rhodes very fast, very soon. At some point.
How
So
how do you feel that the original WrestleMania main event, Rock vs Roman, was scrapped because of Cody crybabies?
um I as a match perspective, kind of glad it changed because I was interested, and I think the idea of Roman Reigns versus The Rock for the championship. I think that's completely terrible. Personally, I don't want to see that at all. Not that's fine. But again, as I think as I'm glad it's Cody Rhodes. I get why this it's storyline they would do it. I just don't think it should have been if they planned on doing it for the championship. I think that would have been a big mistake because they didn't need to be for the championship. So,
I'm,
but
I'm,
what it would have been whatever.
I'm slightly different with you. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Roman and Rock. I wanted to see that match badly, right? Let me give you my point of view on it. I
Okay.
feel the new generation of fans, which are younger Cody fans, they ruined a once in a lifetime opportunity. Instead, we're just getting a rematch from last year. It's the same story, everything's the same. It's just like a repeat, right? Would you say that's fair to
Yeah.
say?
Yeah, it is.
So so they threw away something fresh for a repeat. And people say they want new stuff all the time, but they're accepting this because it's Cody, which I don't think is fair, which is similar. You touched on it quite a few times. Because it's Cody, they're accepting things they normally wouldn't accept, which brings me back to the original question. And I think it is a younger Cody fans. Like they don't know the history of this wrestler and that wrestler. All they care about is Cody, right?
Yeah, there's that. Also, there's also podcasters that I listen to as well that say that Cody Rhodes needs to be the champion because of that they thought last year was the perfect opportunity. I was just ready for it at that point and saying he's gonna win it. Fine, let's see what happens. But the other thing is though too, a year later though, with Roman Reigns, what has Reigns done though? I taking a lot of time off. I get, that's his schedule, but it does make SmackDown weak in the main event scene to make SmackDown all that interesting to see who's like, because all that from all that time with Roman, he's just been not there, or he was feeding with Jay and having tag matches on pay-per-view. He's in a tag team title match in a last year. I didn't care for that at all. So I mean,
Mm.
there's also some negatives with Roman Reigns as well. So I can see people's point of view about Reigns still being champion is a terrible thing. I kind of agree.
Yeah, so people are against Reigns. Again, I disagree. I like Reigns and I like the title run. I don't mind it being the way it was because we had other champion on Raw, but he's hardly
Yeah,
defending
that
either. Okay,
but
go.
I get that, but also too, there's also what are you gonna do with these other people who's on SmackDown? They're gonna cheat. They don't mean anything as well. At some point, we gotta have some new champion. People say that we need a new world heavyweight champion. Kind of had the same thing about
Mm.
here that we a new well to get something different. So you have to be fair in that respect. I think.
Okay, hear me out 1 second, right? So,
Okay.
in regard to Roman not being on SmackDown, I 100% agree with you. It made it look a bit weak, right? The main event scene. Because I think Roman is on another level now. With Roman not being there, it should open up opportunity for wrestlers to step up, right? Could it be the wrestlers on the SmackDown brand did not step up enough? And that's why Roman still is champion. Because simply there's no one
Yeah, I mean,
on that level to be it.
yeah, because I think back to 2022, I wasn't there was anything there. That was it. There was no one there on SmackDown at that time that was all that interesting. Same thing with even from last year. They just brought back Randy Orton, just brought back AJ Styles, and then they're starting to do something with LA Knight, but he's not at that level yet. And so now, but this year now they're starting. I think they have that available now with Bobby Lashley now on SmackDown. Have new people on SmackDown that weren't there before. They were either on Raw or they were injured. So
Mm.
now I think there's opportunity on SmackDown for
Yeah.
it to be. And there's people there who could fill that main event scene.
Okay, I'm going to give you a random thought, right?
Okay.
Now, I haven't really said this on our podcast, but I have said it on the spaces in the past. I rather it would have been Bobby Lashley in that main event at WrestleMania and Bobby Lashley beating him. I think that would have been far more believable, and Bobby deserves it. Like everyone goes on about Cody deserves it. I think Bobby deserves it too. But he's been on SmackDown and he hasn't really done anything. So there is a negative there as well. So what's your take on that?
Yeah, they just kept Bobby Lashley away from Roman Reigns. He's like the legit a real threat to Reigns' championship, and they kept them separated since Lashley got drafted to
Yeah.
SmackDown. And you know he's been messing around with Karrion Kross lately, and Authors of Pain and all this stuff with the Street Profits. But I think there, you know, with him and Roman Reigns is something I would like to see. They only had that one match together.
I
I
think
guess
they've had
those
one
I
of
guess
the two matches.
the two matches, yeah, two matches they had. And that was it. They never went back to it. And so and both guys are different characters now. I mean, Lashley is more seasoning after him being the world champion and him having a new lease of life since 2020.
Mm.
And then Reigns, of course, as well. So that's a feat that I will be super. That's something that's believable as well too for a person to defeat Roman Reigns is Bobby Lashley, who's believable. So,
Okay.
uh,
That I mean, I would have took that. I mean, that's just my personal thought, and because I mean, obviously, you agree to some degree. Okay, let's go back to Cody a second. Now, let's say if Cody wasn't taking on Reigns, let's say he didn't win the Rumble. Who do you think he would have been wrestling at this WrestleMania?
I don't know. Maybe it would have maybe it would have been Seth or something, or I don't know.
I think he
Because of
probably
this
would have worked
whole
with. So
who.
I know everything. I know everything got messed up in the storyline. People got hurt, but just do it as the people won't hurt. So they're available. And let's say he didn't work with Seth. He didn't work with Roman. Who else do you think he would have worked with?
I have no idea. I really don't know. Maybe he would have been working with Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. Maybe that's would have been that would have been the match to do because of him bringing back Jey Uso. He didn't like that, so maybe he would have faced Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania, and that would have been the secondary feud for Raw would have been him feuding with Drew McIntyre possibly. Maybe that
So
was the plan.
I think he would have worked with either Drew or either Dominic. Now, if he worked with Drew, I think Drew would have won. I don't think Cody would have won. I think it would have been a totally different story if it wasn't for the fans going crazy. And as for working with Dominic, I believe you can put anyone with Dominic. And Cody's a great face. Dominic's a great heel. It would have been something to do at WrestleMania. Like I said, we both said he has good matches, but end of the day, no matter what he does, that's all it comes down to. He has good matches. But going back to if he worked with Drew, do you think he would have beat Drew, or do you think Drew would have won?
Maybe a fluky win like how Seth Rollins has done as well. Just had a
Yeah.
just whether he just got caught in the victory because someone got involved or he just or something happened. So I think a quick pin of some sort, not a quick pin, but something happened that McIntyre gets caught, something like that. I don't think he'll win decisively, like their first match or something. So that's my thought.
Okay. In regards to Cody, then the Cody and the title. Let's say if he doesn't win the title. Let's say if Reigns beats him. Now, hear me out for a second. If he loses, he could still work with The Rock. So that challenge he did at Elimination Chamber, that still works. It still gets a match with Rock, beat The Rock, and it's a good way to recover from the loss. Everyone thinks Cody's getting the title, but remember, Kyle, Last year, everyone thought he was going to get the title. Did that
Yeah,
happen?
yeah.
What are the chances uh, he doesn't get it? Before you answer, by the way, if this gets to 60 minutes, it might cut off. I'll just re-invite you again, and I'll merge the two together when I post it out. Sometimes it does, just to let you know. So yeah, do you want to go ahead and answer your thoughts?
Um, can you say that one more time? Sorry.
So let's say obviously he doesn't beat Roman, and he can still go on and defeat The Rock and
All
have
right.
that
Yeah, yeah,
feud. So
yeah.
I mean, last year everyone was saying no, he's gonna win, he's gonna win, he's gonna win, and he didn't. Right? What are the chances he
Yeah.
doesn't win?
And he should never go after world champion ever again. Personally, if he doesn't win, because clearly they don't view him as a world champion. If he loses again at WrestleMania, he should just always stick with the mid card. As far as I'm concerned, because they clearly the company doesn't care to put the world title on him. Because at the end of the day, we're just fans and we're just watching. We want to see how these people are as champions or not. If they chose not to again, then I don't think he should ever even compete for a world champion. The company has no faith in him to be a champion if they did the same finish they did a year ago. That'd be my
Okay,
thought. So it'd be hard to bounce back, you know.
okay. The thing is, that, okay, the bounce back bit. I think if he loses, it will be due to The Rock, and then he would go on and defeat The Rock, which then would give him that status, and he could continue uh, upper mid card, lower main event. He can still continue, can recover from his loss for Roman. Do you think that might actually be the plan, or do you think that's too straightforward?
I mean, yeah, that's possible. That if that happens, then then that's fine. I just think that they just did a similar thing though last year where Solo got involved and that's why he lost the championship. Yeah, just lost the match to Reigns. Do it the same type of finish again. It's deja placing Solo with Dwayne Johnson is like I don't care. So it's like man, what a waste of time to this guy and to just not never again. As far as I'm
Okay.
concerned, he should be in a title picture if that happens again. So
Something I just want to talk about, the Reigns versus Cody match, which unless it changes, I mean, it can. I mean, I think it's locked, but you never know, right?
yeah.
Now, how different do you actually think it's going to be to say the match last year? And obviously, you said you don't want to see the same finish, but how the flow of the match? How different do you think it's actually going to be, or do you think it's going to be very similar to last year?
I think it'll be very down. They just posted the match last year on YouTube, and that match was for like 40 minutes or something. It was a very so
Hmm.
I think it'll be very similar. Where it's going to be a long match, a good match, but a very long match, and probably very similar, and probably did. So I think that the length of the match will be similar, and the flow of the match will be similar to last year. Maybe slightly something for the most part. I think it'll be
Hmm.
very similar.
Okay. Obviously, if Cody doesn't win, I agree with you. I think that's it. The company, because this is Cody at his highest. I would say even higher than last year, right?
Right? Yeah,
Or
I agree with that.
and if he doesn't win the title now, I don't think it's going to happen. But that brings me to the next point, Kyle. It's the story, right? I know you weren't a fan of the story. Now, just hear me out. That story of doing it for his father. If he loses, he's got a story. He can continue. He doesn't have to complete that straight away. It can be another year, it can be 2 years, it can be 3 years. He's got that story. That's going to keep him relevant. That's going to keep the crowd behind him. That's going to make him on another level. But he has to take the loss and he has to keep the story, whether I like it or not. Do you want to give me thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, if they do it again, hard for people to care about Cody Rhodes again. If he loses again, would they? I think or it'd be some people be like, oh, why should I care anymore? We would, I would, 2 years now has been, and he still lost. Like, why am I supporting this guy? He's just a loser at the end of the day. You can only take so much of, you can only take so much loss in order to keep the fans more interested and invested. He either wins a championship or he does. Then we don't care anymore. We're just gonna boo him now because we don't care.
Yeah.
2 years in a row with this, so I think it could backfire if he loses.
Do you think? So I'm going back to WrestleMania. Do you think maybe they should add a gimmick to the match this year, just to make it different? Like I think Stay Steel Cage would be perfect, or even a Hell in a Cell to keep everyone out. Um, to play with the story. Um, but it seems like they're just having a straight match like last year. Would you like to see a gimmick added?
Um, sure, maybe they could just do a thing. Get if anyone gets involved, which would be a stupid stipulation, but this could happen. If anyone gets involved, Razor Bailey loses the championship to Cody Rhodes, which I don't like that type of stipulation, but that's an option. Or if if something, or just say that they're bad or whatever. Just something where like all this have to say that you or whatever, or something happens that would be there's something happens that would be will hurt Reigns losing the championship in any type of way. So maybe it'd be something like
Okay.
that.
Okay. In regards, obviously, we spoke about him working with Reigns. Now, obviously, I know you're not the biggest Cody fan. Um, I was going to speak about the mid card scene a little bit with Cody, right? Some
Yeah.
people are like, no, no, he can't be a mid carder. He won the Royal Rumble. He headlined WrestleMania. Well, there have been plenty of people that headlined WrestleMania and won the Rumble that have ended back into the mid card. Some even lower, right?
Yeah.
It can happen. Now, say, okay, this is why I think he's good for the mid card. There's a lot more talent to work with, right? You can mess
Yep.
around with a lot more talent, and the pressure's not going to be as much. And then working that great match, that's it. That's accepted. You've done your part as the mid card. Now, people might think I'm crazy, but I do think he would be a better mid carder than main eventer, simply because of what I said, the talent pool he can work with. Um, what do you think about that?
Yeah. I mean, he can have more. He can have a lot of matches with Jay, a lot of matches with the majority in the mid card. You could have more matches with like Finn Balor, because I don't really see him in the world championship seat anymore. Unfortunately, um,
Yeah.
Gargano. They want to split DIY up, or at some point in the future. Not mean wait in the future with DIY breaking up. I don't see them breaking up anytime soon. But have matches with him. Have just there's stuff for him to do in the mid card for Cody Rhodes
Okay.
to do. I could see.
So let's just go by the two. I mean, they're just two names straight top of your head. Finn Balor and Johnny Gargano. They could be some really good matches with Cody done on the mid card, right? They could be
Yeah.
brilliant. There's nothing wrong with that. But some people are like, no, it can never happen. But that might actually be better for Cody. You know, um, I mean, I like those ideas. I like Gargano and Cody. I like Finn Balor and Cody. And on a pay per view setting, I mean, I think it could be brilliant. Um, that's all I could see him doing. And like some people, Kyle, they're against mid carders. They don't want certain wrestlers to be mid carders. They want them to be main event, but not everyone can be the main event, right? Now,
Yeah.
The only thing I'll say about Cody, he's never been a permanent main eventer. He's won the Rumble, he's had the main event at WrestleMania, but he's not done many pay per views in a row where he is that main eventer, right?
Yeah, he has it.
And that's what people need to remember. He hasn't done that. But do you think he can do that pay-per-view after pay-per-view after pay-per-view? Right, it'll be the main focus.
But I think they probably will do that. And look, I'll give it a shot. But I just don't. I just they could do that. Could they do that? Sure. Will they? I don't know. I guess it's up to them to do. But I think he could. And he may thrive. Who knows? I don't know. I just haven't seen it yet, so I can't really say he
I
will fail
think,
because I'm not really positive.
yeah, obviously, I mean, I know you're looking at it with a positive outlook. I mean, and I think we've been pretty fair. Some people would probably say, Carl, you're a Cody hater, but you're not. You just don't like him. You're not a fan of
No.
his, right?
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
people
I'm
get
not a
mixed
fan.
up.
I'm
That's
just
what
so
people,
I just don't
so
care. I just don't care for him. He's not my cup of tea, but I understand. But he is a really good wrestler, and I really do enjoy his theme song. I really do. I was there live, but he was his theme song. I enjoy his theme song. I enjoy his work. I just don't, with him as champion, I'm not on the high on, but whatever it is, what it is. At least he is a good wrestler, and he's, it's fine, whatever.
uh,
I'll be like whatever type of feeling.
okay. Let me ask you something, right? I'll try not to. Let me see how I'm going to put this. There are people that would say to you, or fans like you, "Oh my God, how can you not like Cody?" Right? They do say that, right?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
what do you think when people say fans like that, or if you want my opinion first, I can give mine. When they just can't believe it, or they think you're an idiot because you don't like Cody. Now, this ain't referring to just you, but you know what I'm on about, right? There are fans like that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
what do you think about those wrestling fans that just can't accept it, and in complete shock that you don't like a certain wrestler?
I think it's kind of lame, if everyone likes everyone to be a boring life, I don't, it's like, he's just not my person. I don't care for Cody Rhodes. Becky Lynch is my person. I like Becky a lot more than any other person
Mm,
on Raw, SmackDown, or NXT. Becky's my person,
mm,
right? So she's my number one. So just because, and Becky said it's not everyone's cup of tea. And
yeah,
so it's like, you have your favorites, and that's fine. And just because I'm not a fan of that person as much as you are, that doesn't mean, it's not like that nothing's wrong with me. It's just not my person, and that's fine.
yeah,
Why do I have to like him because you say so? You can't tell me what to
yeah,
do. So it's that type of thing where
exactly.
a lot of people can't really understand that, there's different people. That's why the roster, it is where it is. There's different people, there's different rosters for different people. I look at Twitter, I look at Instagram. A lot of people have all these fan accounts of Becky Lynch or Seth Rollins or Cody Rhodes or Roman Reigns, all these fan pages, even on Twitter as well. They have their certain that they care, that they like, whether it's one person or multiple people. I saw multiple Liv Morgan and Becky fans both equally. So this is different strokes this is different people that you like on the show that you like it. If you don't, and that's fine. Why do we have
Yeah,
to like it because you say so? That's, I
yeah,
mean,
exactly.
please, because who are you? You're just a
Yeah,
nobody. You don't know me. I don't know you. Why should I listen to what you have to say? Your
yeah. So
opinion
obviously,
doesn't matter to me.
the reason I brought that up, obviously, because it does happen, right? And
It does.
we
Yeah.
are, yeah, and we are all entitled to our opinion, whether people like it or not. Like, I think Cody should be a mid card. A lot of people are going to disagree with that, right?
Right.
But I think the people that can't accept it, they maybe need to look in the mirror and and maybe learn to accept other people's opinions, because not everyone's going to love Cody. Now, Cody's just one of the wrestlers. Obviously, you said WWE is filled with talent, top to bottom. NXT, Raw, SmackDown. There's so much talent on there, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
I would say WWE's. probably got more talent than ever than it has in a long time. I don't know if you
I'll say
agree with
so.
that.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
say so as well. I think so as well. From the time where it was it like you think about 2010 till now 2024, that's a complete difference,
yeah.
you know, or 10 years ago. You know, it's just like complete difference to where it was in the 2010s to where it is now in 2024. So it's completely changed. It's completely more star power on Raw and SmackDown, even on NXT than ever before, I feel
Mm.
like.
Yeah, all three brands are. I'm watching. I'm saying, flipping out. This is on another level, right? So
Yeah.
that brings me to the next point. Now, Cody and NXT. Now, I don't see Cody going to NXT, but NXT talent is coming up quick. They're pumping these talents. They're making them great, and they're starting to slowly come onto the main roster and even building on NXT. Um, what I'm trying to say is, if these guys are stepping up quick, then Cody, would he need to make changes to stay at top, or do you think he can just stay the way he is, and the NXT talent will have their place, and Cody will have his? What I'm trying to say is, if how can I sum this up? I've not summed it up very well. If if you get more talent on there that are more talented than Cody, what people aren't going to care about Cody as much. Do you? I haven't described it well, but do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, well, he has to change his character. He has to be a different character. I mean, that's what they also
Yeah,
need to do with Cody Rhodes is change his character. Becky
yeah,
changed her character to multiple things. Rhea changing her character. You know,
yeah.
Roman changing his character.
So,
Finn Balor changing his character. You have to change. You can't just stay one specific character for of your of for the next couple of years. You're remaining the same character. People get bored of that. You got to change your character to something different. Either be more edgy, be more serious, or be a heel if you're a bad guy, or be a babyface if you're a good guy. You have to
okay,
change your character. You can't stay one specific character forever. You know.
I agree. He would need to go heel, in my opinion, if this was to happen. Now, that brings me back. Why can't he go a heel now? Say he loses to Roman and then loses to The Rock. Why doesn't he actually turn into a real American nightmare? Use that story. He is an American nightmare. He can never get the title and make him go heel. I think it'd be a far better heel than a face, to be honest. But I don't know. He's got a lot of fans behind him, and I do think it's those younger fans um, that are behind him that are going to stop this change from happening the same way John Cena never turned heel. Do
Yeah.
you think you agree?
Yeah, I just think they just have Cody Rhodes is John Cena to a lot of people. He's in that mindset with a lot of younger fans. He will always get cheered, and I think also too is his music as well. His music isn't doing him any favors. He
Mm,
gets every time it hits a dun dun dun, and then it hits and then it hits his theme song and his music comes on. It's that
yeah.
it's just his theme song is super catchy and a very baby face theme song. He needs to change the theme song, change his look, change everything about Cody Rhodes. That's how people feel about Becky. I forget heard that from Becky. She said that that Becky needs to change her theme song, change her look, and everything, all that stuff, which I don't think is
Mm,
necessary. She had that music when she was a heel and all that stuff. She did change her character, but her her music stayed. So I don't. I mean, that's a whole different circumstance. With Cody Rhodes, I
mm.
think changes theme music, changes whole persona, have it come out more serious, and maybe it'll be more interesting then as a serious. Whether he's a heel or not, either just more serious or more like a heel and just be just edgy or just different than how he's currently.
Okay, so that brings me to the next point. We both agree eventually change will be needed with Cody. With the new fans, which I think the younger fans are going to stop this change, John Cena was able to stay on top. I think without change, Cody's going to become very boring, like very boring.
I
Uh,
agree.
yeah, but the problem is actually the new fans. They're not going to allow that change, um, which is going to be a problem. But they don't know that because they're younger fans, right?
Yeah, yeah. So
So,
what is it a
so
disadvantage, when it comes to what is clearly in the minority of being, that at the that he is getting a lot of positive reactions because there's a lot of kids that go to these shows, and
mm,
he's doing a lot of and he's on the cover of 2K24. He is just doing every lot of nice stuff outside of the company or whatever. He's promoting the company. He's doing every thing that they like to have the top baby face do.
yeah,
So it's gonna be
until
hard for him to turn the heel at this point.
until WrestleMania, obviously, I think everything's going to be branded Cody. Like the game, for example, I know that cover's decided in advance, but I do think a lot of people are going to pick up the game just because Cody's on it. And I don't know, do you play WWE games?
No, I like to though, but I haven't played it too much. I mean, I look at the newer games like, oh, this looks really cool. I would definitely would play it if I wanted to, but it would have
Okay,
been like, but yeah, yes and no.
okay. The question I'm trying to get to then, with Cody being in that game, I think a lot of people are going to play as Cody. Um, whether we like it or not. And then there's going to be other people that don't like Cody that are still going to have him just to get beat up by the wrestler they like. Um, I
Yeah.
think,
They also could just they could also just take just have the Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley cover of it because there's two copies of it, so they can just take that cover. They'll have to see Cody Rhodes' face on it, so because it did make
yeah.
another copy for it. So I mean that's the
So
other option.
there is another option. They have got a WrestleMania edition as well. I mean, that's the option as well. Now, with Cody being on the cover visually, right? If you
Yeah,
go back to being you go back to when you were, I don't know, uh, 12, 13, right?
13. Say 13. Yeah,
Okay, say 13. Okay, let's say you're 13. You saw that cover with Cody let's go real back in time, DVD, uh, or a game. If you
yeah.
saw Cody on that at the age of 13, the way they have done it, would you buy it? Or would you pick it up and ask your parents to buy you it? Or however you would pay?
Well, let's see. If Cody Rhodes was in a position that I felt that how John Cena was at that time and how I
Yeah.
felt about Randy Orton and all that stuff all from them as a teenager, I definitely probably would have kept. I would have gotten it because I know it's John Cena, it's Randy Orton. I like them both for what they were doing, and that's what or if it was Edge because I was addicted to Edge and Jeff Hardy personally. So
Okay.
and Rey Mysterio those were my people. So if that was the case, then yeah, I would have been like if Cody if I was the younger Finn today, if Cody Rhodes was on the cover of a DVD cover that I wanted, I would definitely put it with because of the way he's been positioned on both the television and all that stuff. So yeah, what if?
But this is what I think with the young. There are older fans that are behind Cody as well, but I think it is more
That's true.
younger.
Yeah.
That uh, uh, obviously with more younger fans being behind him, and let's say people pick up the game, they obviously the game's got legends and all sorts. You might get an older fan who's into the game. You're going to get young fans and fans that have never even watched wrestling, right? Um,
Right. Yeah.
and, and Cody's stories on there. It's Cody's got some of the WrestleMania matches on there. People are. Do you think people might get more invested in him? Cover
I
star.
think be confused because if you're I think they may be confused about like why is this thing on here what is going to be like the end game of that particular level or whatever the with that
Yeah.
entire story arc of his story arc on the game. Whereas it going to be what's the end game of that when that storyline on the video game because
Yeah. Yeah.
since this story isn't over with yet. So that's the thing that'll be like fascinating that they even added that on in the game itself. So that's
Yeah.
that was a choice.
Okay. Another question, and we mentioned John Cena a lot, right?
Yeah.
And we're just going by what others are saying. And then, do you think at some point he needs to have that match with John Cena?
Cody and John Cena. Well, I don't know.
Not,
I don't think it's necessary.
not a main event, just a match. Would you? I mean, it's not necessary, but would you like to see it?
Um, Not really. Not really on that. I'm not. That doesn't really interest me. I mean, if it happens, then fine. I'm not really. Doesn't really excite me.
Yeah.
It's like if it happens, then whatever. It's like a whatever feeling. If it happens, it's fine. If it doesn't, I'm okay with that too. So I could go either way.
Okay. So obviously, um, a few weeks ago, it might be a bit longer. We discussed Cody in a space, Twitter space, right?
Yeah.
And
Well, I
and
feel like
a
I always
lot.
have. So
So say again.
and I feel like I've always been talking about Cody in these Twitter spaces because a lot of people
Yeah.
he's the big talking point for everyone. So yeah, I've been yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, go ahead.
But when his name comes up, even older fans like him. Not all older fans, but there are older fans that like him. Now, let's put the kids to one side, right?
Okay.
Now, people like, I know you're a little bit younger than me, but there's people my age as well that like Cody. Now, kids, okay, we get it. Why are the older fans caught up in this story?
I don't know. I can't really say about how the 30 to 40 audience are. I can only speak to my age range at this point from 27
Mhm,
to early 30s. I think it's
mhm,
just that with them I think it's just that they like it's just something new still even from them. I don't know why I don't know exactly why the certain podcasts that I listen to are so attached to Cody Rhodes and him wanting to be the champion. It was not really any clear cut reason of why you think he's just the right person. He's just the right person at the right at the right time, I guess. And he for a lot of people do watch AEW and watch what he did there then and was I guess was was okay with it. The fact that he's what he's doing now is more better interesting than them and it's a different clean
yeah,
slate of him in WWE and so far he's been good. The way he's been handled on television, the way he's been presented on
yeah,
TV is a lot different and a lot better now. So maybe that's why they want him to be the champion because the way they treated him since day one,
yeah,
coming back from the company. Maybe that's why they are excited to see this guy as a champion because to give him that moment to say, you know what, that we're now you're now the guy and you did good. It's like a good for you type of thing because you changed your character, you changed everything about you, both and now you're presented in a way that isn't the main event now for than it was before. Maybe that's the reason. I really have
yeah,
no clear reason why
yeah,
beyond just that. Beyond that, I have no idea why. I really have to talk to someone who's really a Cody Rhodes fan, who's my age, that really need to really say why is this person? Why do you think this guy needs to be the champion? And why does he have to be take the title for Roman Reigns? Why Roman himself? And why Cody is the right person
yeah.
for that? Like, what is the reason for it beyond
Okay.
he's just a
I,
new
I,
person? That's sorry,
okay.
went a little too long for that, but
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the answer myself. Why people? I have asked, but the answer I'm getting, they just like him. He's Cody Rhodes, and they never really give any great answers. But okay, let's talk about his challenge to The Rock. Why did he go ahead and challenge The Rock if he hasn't even beat Roman? I don't think that should have been done. Maybe the challenge should have been done after. Why do you think it was done before?
I have no idea. I really don't know why. I just think because maybe they want The Rock to have to be to have a match at WrestleMania. You know, maybe that's why we would do it night one, which I think that'll be a big mistake. You have an opportunity to have yes, an opportunity to have Rhea and Becky main eventing, or even Bailey and Io, depending what the which night they're going to wrestle in. There's a chance for Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre the main event. So I just think that would be a big mistake. I don't know why he challenged him for. He should focus solely on Roman Reigns. Was like how Seth should focus solely on Drew McIntyre. Same thing with Rose. He should focus on Roman Reigns only and not worry about The Rock really. So because I think it's a complete
Oh,
waste of time.
okay. Um, I I don't mind him working with The Rock. I just think not on this night. Or I don't mind it
Right.
happening at Mania, but not they don't work with Roman, right? But obviously don't I don't know, they might have him do what you said. He might work with Rock at night one, beat him and then take on Roman. But I don't think that's necessary at all. Um in regards to The Rock, if that match doesn't take place at WrestleMania, Backlash is in France. Do you think it might take place
Right.
there?
Maybe, but let's if Rose does win the championship, I think that'd be even more like a no. So that's even more a no if Rose comes out as champion. And
Okay.
it so no, I'll say none of that.
Okay. In regards to Cody, then let's say he gets the title. Let's say I say if he gets the title before SummerSlam, he's losing that title. Make a prediction, or does he keep it for a couple of years like Roman? Never say never, right? When do you see him losing that title?
uh, well, I think he's gonna have a long run. How long of a run? Maybe if I had to guess, I'll maybe a year, maybe this entire year he'll be champion for, and then maybe he'll be champion beyond WrestleMania. But I think be similar to Ray's, but different. Maybe he'll have a very long run. Um,
Yeah.
and I guess it depends how the fans still feel about Rhodes, and see if and it also comes down to the fans. Will the fans still care about Rhodes as champion that long, or will they turn on him? Well, maybe that's the other factor as well, and also whoever he's going to be feuding with as well. Are
Yeah.
they more interesting characters than Rhodes at that point, or what? So it comes down to the opponents, how the fans will treat
Yeah.
him, and so yeah, I think that's where it comes down to.
Okay, so support. I just want to get back to that because that you just mentioned that, and that's important because I think you got two types of fans, wrestling fans. Ones which are very loyal that will stand with you no matter what, and there's ones that will
Right.
move on very very quickly, right?
Yeah.
This is where I go back to the younger kids. I think they're going to stand with Cody no matter what. The older ones will phase off, but in 10 years' time, we'll probably have a 18-year-old person saying, I got into the business. My first match, I saw Cody, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. 'Cause I had that similar thing when I saw Becky Lynch, and you know, like the first time I saw her when I was 18, when I first saw
mhm,
saw her, and that's when I became a fan of hers. When she first debuted to the main roster, and then I've been a fan ever since as a 27-year-old. So it's I guess it depends on how long you watch these people. So, like Seth as well. I saw him as when I was 17. I was actually no, I was 17. I just turned 17 in 20 in
mhm.
20 13. I just turned 17. And it's when I saw Seth, and I was like, okay, I don't care about this guy because he's a heel. I was playing that up and saying he's a heel, so I don't like him. And then again, like I said, I just had a different mindset when he got hurt. But with Dean Ambrose, for example, because he was part of the Shield, I was a fan of him like instantly. Like, whoa, he's really cool and out there, and he was fun to watch. So from that point, Dean Ambrose, I've been a fan of him since all the way up to the point till he left. Uh, that's that mindset, that type of example I have there too.
Okay. I want to just go back, right? So obviously you were watching when Cody was there originally, right?
Yep,
in
I was
WWE.
there for the whole dashing the whole dashing Cody Rhodes stuff. Even during this time during Legacy, even so, yeah, I was there. I watched it all.
Right, that's what I want to touch on. So before he left, he he obviously was doing that stuff. Even before Stardust, right? He was doing all
Right?
that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
What did you think of Cody then?
What I think of Cody then, I thought I didn't really care too much about him. I think back to like the first time watching for first time watching the pay per view was WrestleMania 26, and it was on DVD. I didn't watch it live. I didn't watch it live. I watched it on DVD. And then it was that triple threat match. It was Randy, Cody, and Ted and Ted DiBiase. When I saw, it, I was like, okay, whatever. He wasn't. It was Randy Orton was the star. He's the one I was hyped for, and I was like, yeah, it was about Randy Orton. Those other two didn't matter. And then when he went by himself and had him as the IC champion in 2011 and 2012, all that stuff, and him wearing the
Yeah.
mask, him talking about no one should be touching my face. Anyone touching my face is I thought all that was pretty stupid, and I was like, okay, whatever. It didn't interest me. So
Okay.
all of that didn't interest me, and him as IC champion didn't care for neither. So even
Uh,
all every iteration of Cody Rhodes, I didn't care for.
Yeah.
So because I just like whatever.
Okay, that's what I was trying to get at. That's the reason I went down that road with you. Because I did like Cody then, but he was mid card then, and that's when I liked him. Um, and that's how I'd like him now. Not as dashing, but as
I
the
think for
American
me, I just was
nightmare.
never a fan. I think for me, I was just never a fan of the guy. I didn't really see the appeal, and I still don't. So maybe it's just me. I just don't. I don't view him as a anything. He's just another body of the roster to me. So
But it's never too late. I mean, you may one day be a Cody fan. He's still got time to change your
maybe I
mind.
don't
But
know.
I don't think it's
Probably
going to
I
happen.
I don't see it happening, but I mean we'll
Uh,
see. I doubt it though.
unless maybe a heel run, but you saw him as a heel before, and he was a very good heel. But you didn't still like him, right?
Well, I didn't see him as a heel. I don't know how he is as a heel, so I don't know. So if he has to be a heel of WWE, maybe my mind set will change. If he changes his theme song, if he
Yeah,
changes his whole character,
I thought
maybe
that,
maybe
that
he'll
dashing Cody Rhodes, he was heel.
oh, dashing, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, even and I still didn't care. I didn't really it just I just didn't care. Even from that point, I still didn't. I was I was 14 and I didn't know what heel face even meant really still. So I was still learning the storylines even from that point as that age. So even then I was like so I didn't really get it at that time yet. So
Okay,
um
okay,
yeah, so I don't know. I was like I
okay.
did I was like I didn't really care. So
So I still think we're going to get a great match at WrestleMania, but from the start, we've said he can have great matches, and I don't know
yeah.
if it's going to be bigger than last year. With The Rock being involved, he might actually take spotlight away from Cody. Let's say if
I
he
think so
rock,
too.
yeah. So that's just being there. But if he does a rock bottom on, say, Roman Reigns and Cody wins, I think more people are going to be talking about The Rock hitting the rock bottom.
Yeah,
Um,
it'd be very similar to when the when it was the Miz and John Cena, and then the Rock came in and rock bottom John Cena, and that's why Miz won the championship. What has Miz
yeah,
done since then? So
yeah,
it's gonna now they are very different. Wrestlers. They are treating Rose like $1 million, and they didn't care too much about keeping that with the Miz, but it'll be very similar to that if that does happen. It'll be 2011
yeah.
all over again.
I could see that happening. I definitely. That's why I suggested a gimmick earlier to keep everyone out and keep the focus because it is not going to work out great because The Rock will steal all the spotlight, not because he wants to. It just happened, right?
Yeah.
Uh, it's going to be interesting to see where they go from here. Is there anything else you want to talk about, Cody Rhodes? Anything I missed?
No, I think kind of just got through everything. I think just for me at the end of the day, for me, that I just thought that I said before, I'll say it again. I just have him win the championship. He's facing Reigns again. Just have him win and move on. Or if not, I don't. I just think he should never go after a championship ever again, because clearly the company doesn't care for it.
Yeah,
If you want him to be champion, give him a shot. Let's see. Let's see how he does. I'll give him a shot, like I did Drew McIntyre during the pandemic,
yeah.
and I thought he did a decent job as champion. So we'll see. But if not,
Hopefully,
then move on with Cody Rhodes. And he should, so yeah,
hopefully in the future we'll be able to do another podcast on Cody, maybe after this whole story's over, and see our views then. Because we're going to be doing podcasts regular,
yeah,
have loads to talk about, right? Um,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it it is going to be interesting to see what he does, if he wins the title, if he doesn't. I think we've had an in-depth chat. Anything else you want to cover?
No, I think we talked about a lot of it. We all got a very long time with this. So yeah, I think it was a really good discussion. I really enjoyed it. For talking with me about it. It was a lot, so it was really good. And we'll see what happens moving forward. We'll talk about this again soon.
Yeah, so thanks for joining, and I will see you on the next one. And yeah, see you soon. Thanks for joining.
Yes, yeah.